So I'm trying the latest update to lossless scaling. Triple my FPS from 48 to 144. And I'm like, this looks amazing. But is my performance going up or down? And then I'm remembering Jensen's teachings. And I realize that my 3080 has now become a 4090. That's right. It is CEO logic. It's not accurate, but it's correct. It makes perfect sense. That's how it goes. So yeah, more fake frames. But let me tell you, depending on your monitor, this might be unusable or mind-blowing. Because we can now generate 2x, 3x, 4x, 5, 6, 7, whatever you want. Of course, there are trade-offs. It's not 100% lossless. Okay, you're losing something. And you can definitely see the interpolation artifacts. But man, it is awesome. See, I only have 144 hertz. I wish I could try this on a very high refresh rate monitor. And I'm working on it already. I'm trying to send some emails to these companies to see if I can get one of those. Because the thing is, I'm not gonna buy it for myself. I prefer to play on a big TV. But to test this kind of stuff, it will be awesome. Let's see if I can get a review sample soon. Okay. But even at 144 hertz, this is working surprisingly well. You see, the base frame being 48 is not recommended. They recommend you 60 and more than that. So I understand, I cannot judge and tell you, well, I can see the issues and it's just unusable. But the thing is, I see the issues, but it's not a deal breaker. Like when I move the camera, you see? Here at the corner of the screen is where I see the issues, especially with this challenging. You see all the weirdness going on? See over here? As soon as I move the camera, woo, there's a lot of weirdness going on. But I was playing the game and just driving around. And when I am driving, the only thing that I notice that is actually bothersome is a trailing behind the car, because it is having a hard time figuring out what's going on here at the corner of the screen. So that's it. For the rest of the, you see, here is where the issue is. But just playing the game, this is, so if I'm only focusing ahead, it's fine. And the input lag is surprisingly good. I mean, it's just 48 frames per second. And on top of that, we're adding input lag with this lossless scaling, but it's okay. I can definitely drive. And yeah, if it was not for those artifacts, I would say this is actually, absolutely insane what's happening here. So yeah, you don't need a 50 series card with the power of AI, okay? Even if you have a GPU without the power of AI, you can get this program on Steam. It is not free, but I think for the money you're getting so much. This is just absolutely insane. We have different kind of scaling. You can lower the resolution to get better performance, and you can generate as many frames as you want, basically. This lossless scaling 3.0 basically has the ability to custom your generation. So let's say you have a 480 hertz OLED or 500. There's a new one coming that's 500 hertz. There's also a TN monitor that's 600 hertz. Just 1080p, but it's crazy. So now how can you get 600 frames per second? You are not going to get that on any game. Okay? Yeah, maybe CSGO, although not really. Like locked 600 frames is CPU bound still. So you can generate some frames. Of course, for competitive gaming or something, maybe this is not ideal. But 2x, if you are already getting 300 frames per second, just 2x to get the motion clarity, I think that makes total sense. Like Jensen says, it makes total sense. So now my 3080 is a 5090, and it makes total sense thanks to the power of AI. So thank you very much to the developers of LosslessScaling. This is great. Now, if you see the FPS here right now, I have 48. If I do this and I alt tab to the program, actually let me do this. If I look at the GPU utilization, when I have the program here on screen, it is not actually working because my GPU utilization goes down to 48, 49%. So if I do this again to the game, it goes up to 78%. So you can see the differential. What is the performance cost and the percentage of my GPU? And I think that's very reasonable. So basically from 70, so basically from 50, 47% right now, 47, 48% GPU utilization with these settings at 48 frames per second. If I triple my frame rate, bro, triple the frame rate, my GPU goes up to like 80%, 79, 80%. That's crazy. I'm tripling the frame rate. 48 frames per second is unusable, completely unusable. It's like a blurry mess. I cannot play 48 frames per second anymore, bro. Okay? Because of course I've seen better. It's still better than 30, 35, but every time you step up on the clarity, it's difficult to go back. So you might not like a lot the artifacts, but once you get used to this, visual smoothness and motion, it is gonna be very hard to go back. Now, of course, if you have the performance available for 144 hertz, it would be better to just double the frame rate. But the thing is, I have to lower the quality of this game way too much to accomplish that. Right now, I am using, I think it's DLSS balance and high settings, which is not like optimal settings and none of that. I already beat the game, so I'm not playing it anymore. So I have DLSS balance and high settings. So with those settings, I cannot get a lot of frames, but let's see how many frames I can get without this. So basically, if I disable this, which is very easy actually, you can go here and hit disable, or you have a hotkey. So if you go to settings here in lossless scaling, you can change the hotkey. By default, it's Ctrl-Alt-S. So if I do this, Ctrl-Alt-S, I disable that generation. So now my GPU is at 49%. So let's go and remove the cap. Let's remove the FPS cap to see actually what are the real frames that I can get in this game, to see if it's worth even using this. So I'm gonna cap it to 144, because more than that, it doesn't make any difference. So I'm actually getting 92 frames per second, like real frames. And these 92 frames per second don't have the weirdness of frame generation. So it's up to you. I don't think it is worth using it with such a low frame rate, because 90 frames is actually very good. So I'm going from 90 frames, which also feels more responsive. It's not as good in motion, but I'm going from 90 FPS to 48. That's a huge downgrade on the input lag. And I'm also getting the weirdness with the artifacts. That might not be worth it. Of course, with the frame generation, you're going to get a more consistent experience. But for 144 hertz displays, 3x, I don't think is the perfect solution unless the game is very, very, very demanding and you want to get the higher resolution. But I would try. Let's see if we can do it without changing the settings in game. I don't think we can. I haven't tested it right now. Let's try to lock the game to 60 FPS and just double with the frame generation. So I'm gonna change this frame generation from 3x to 2x. and then I'm going to lock the FPS here. I'm using RTSS. Let's lock the FPS to 60. So I'm gonna come here, 60 FPS. It's not working. 60. I don't know why is this not working. 60. There we go. I'm hitting enter and it's changing to 1000. That's weird. That's so weird. Let's change it to 0. Okay, let's go up. I don't know why this is not working. Oh, maybe because of the... Let me figure this out. I'll continue the recording. I don't know why, but the solution was to just pause the game and then it worked. I don't know why the Riva Turner statistic server didn't let me change the FPS. It was just locked to 1000. I paused the game and it worked. Okay, so now I locked the FPS to 60 and the GPU utilization is 64%. So I should be able to double the FPS with lossless scaling and not drop frames. Let's see if it works. Let me open this again, which was not the problem. Lossless scaling was not the problem that I was having. So let's try now 2x. So I have lossless scaling 3.0, 2x mode, and I'm gonna go Ctrl Alt S, and it's not actually possible. It is not actually possible. Look at my GPU utilization is going up to 90%, 92%. So I'm going to drop. So I think that's actually a huge performance hit. Very, very big. I wish it was a lot less than that. I'll tap here. So you see, from 63% GPU utilization at 60 FPS, from 63% to 88, 89. That is huge. Huge performance hit. Of course, we can try, lowering the in-game settings. We can also try there's a performance mode. There's other, frame generation versions here. You can lower the resolution scaling, for example, 85%. Let's see if that helps, of course. Just a little bit, actually. So now the GPU utilization is like 84%, so that might be more. Yeah, I'm still gonna drop. 86, 85. There's a lot more demanding areas on the game. And of course, I am reducing the quality. I'm not sure if that's even working. Let me Ctrl Alt S and Ctrl Alt S again. It is working. So let me see if I can notice the resolution downgrade from that 85%. Just looking at it from here. So I'm gonna look at this aliasing here. So I will disable it. Ctrl Alt S. I need to do it in real time to notice the difference. So it is not working right now, 63% GPU utilization. I'm gonna enable it now. It is working 85, 86, 84%. But I'm not sure that resolution scaling is working because I don't see the impact. So I'm going to max out this resolution scaling. GPU utilization 88%. Now I'm gonna lower it to 85 here. GPU utilization 84%. So from 84 max out now. 91%, 92. So it is definitely working. I don't see a noticeable quality downgrade on the resolution of the game. So maybe that scaling is for the generated frames and not for the whole thing. I don't see a massive difference, and I am getting better performance, so maybe it can work. Maybe it is better. Now with 2x, I am going from 60 to 120. So I would need more than 60 FPS. I actually need 72 frames to go from 72 FPS to 144. So let's try that. Let me pause the game so I can actually change the FPS cap. And let's see if we can make this work without changing the in-game settings. So now we get 72 FPS cap. And yeah, GPU utilization is at 93-94%. So I'm gonna drop frames, and actually I'm not even getting. Let me turn it off and on again. Turn it off. So it is off right now. My GPU is at 80% to get 72 frames. So 75, 80% to get 72 frames. That's not gonna let me double the FPS with lossless scaling. Let's try it. Turn on lossless scaling. GPU is at 91, 94, and I'm not getting 72 frames anymore. So I would have to lower the resolution of the game a lot, or maybe let's try 50% here, resolution scaling. So we're going 50% resolution scaling and lossless scaling. Let me turn it off and back on again. So I turn it off. We're at 76% GPU utilization, 72 frames locked. I'm gonna turn on lossless scaling 2x. And yeah, almost there. But yeah, I am not reaching the 72 frames per second. But I have to say, the game doesn't look affected a lot for the resolution downgrade. I don't see the resolution downgrade on the game. Maybe that's for the generated frames only, which would be interesting. So let me lower it even more, because I want to see where is the compromise. When I lower this resolution scale here, let's lower it to 25. I should see this making a big difference in the quality. So I lower it to 25. I'm gonna turn it off. Turn off generation. GPU is at 75%. I'm gonna turn it on. And GPU is, I am almost getting the 72 frames, but not quite. But the thing is, what I am impressed about is that I am getting better performance with the lossless scaling. And I don't see a huge downgrade on the quality. So I don't see the resolution of the game being affected. So that might be for the generated frames only. And now the thing is, this is supposed to be working with G-Sync. So right here we have a G-Sync support on. I have VRR on the TV. I'm gonna show you. If I go here to my settings, VRR is on the TV. And actually, this is interesting because the TV is receiving the frames generated by lossless scaling, and I can see that here. The FPS is going up to 144. It is definitely dropping from 144 to 133, 108. So it's not perfectly stable. 144, 130. So there's some fluctuation because my FPS is not rock solid 72. But let's see. If I pan the camera, let's see if I can notice judder. Huh. Wow, this is great. I don't see this. See, usually I'm dropping frames. I am not hitting the target. My GPU is at 92%, so it's not being fully, well, right now it's at 72. Right now I am hitting the target. But sometimes I'm dropping, see, from 72 to 70, so it's a small fluctuation. And that fluctuation should definitely give me judder. And I don't see that. See, 68 FPS, so my FPS is dropping from 72. Wow, this is great. Let me tell you, I don't know what's going on because I cannot see any difference on the image. I am lowering the resolution here a lot. This is supposed to look terrible. See, resolution scale 25. If I turn this off, Ctrl Alt S, show you the GPU utilization. I'm gonna turn it off. I don't see any difference on the resolution of the game. So that resolution scaling, let's confirm that that's actually working. I'm gonna max it out. So I max out the resolution scaling in lossless scaling, and I'm gonna turn it on right now. So my FPS is significantly lower. Right now it's at 62 FPS. I was almost getting 72, so I lost 10 frames. And the thing is, I cannot notice the difference visually. If I lower this resolution scale right here, and it should be a huge difference, I cannot see it. And I guess the reason is that is not actually changing the resolution of the game, it's only changing the resolution of the generated frames. So maybe I am getting a high resolution frame and then the other one is low res. High, low. That is weird. But it's working right. So if I'm gonna turn it off and on again. So right now it's off, I'm gonna turn it on. Boom. Yeah, it is good. Let me tell you, this is good. Not working. The difference on my GPU utilization, not working, 74%, working, 94%, 91, and I am dropping frames from 72 to 71, 70, 69. But the thing is, if I don't see an issue with the smoothness of the game, then it's great. But I should be able to notice a difference on the resolution. This is so weird. Maybe I have to, I'm using some weird settings on the game, some weird HDR settings on the game, so it looks good on camera. So I don't see the game as I usually see it. It's kind of washed out, so basically I raised the visibility near black and I lower the brightness of my TV completely. It is in 0 right now. So just my camera can capture the game without too much clipping. So this is not the way I usually see the game. It looks weird already for me. So maybe once I fix the settings and I try it again, maybe I will see the downgrade on the resolution. But right now, this is incredible. Let me tell you. Like, I was ready to come here and tell you, man, it's not very useful. Not very usable because you would, with this kind of refresh rate, at 144, I would say, man, this is not very useful because your base FPS is not high enough. But from 72, even if I'm dropping, see right now 65, 68 FPS. So even with that fluctuation on the frame rate, if I cannot see judder, see right now I'm panning the camera. if I don't see judder, this is amazing. This is amazing. And this was not working like that, let me tell you. They have improved this massively. This was not working this good. Not even close. When I tested this lossless scaling before and I made the videos, I was very excited because I like the smoothness improvement with the motion clarity, especially for my LG C1, because I want to use BFI, OLED Motion Pro technology on my LG C1 is amazing. So I want to hit those 120 frames, and I'm like, whatever it takes. If I have to sacrifice some interpolation artifacts, I'm okay with that because it looks so awesome when I move the camera. So I was very excited when I tested this lossless scaling at the beginning, but it was not even close to what I'm seeing right now. It was not working with VRR like this. I was getting judder all the time. Like when I moved the camera, I was getting judder, and right now, even with my FPS fluctuating, it is smooth. This is incredible. Holy. This is very, very good. And if it is this good with the low base FPS, if you have a 240 Hertz OLED, post in the comments here. How is that working at from 120 to 240 or even 360 or 480 Hertz? Because my guess, it is just absolutely incredible. That's my guess. It has to be amazing because this is just 72 frames and not even a stable frames. And it's working well. Look at this, 65, 66 FPS, and it looks smooth. You see that frame time, it's not great at all. It's not terrible because Cyberpunk doesn't have a stuttering, which is great. This game runs well. It's still kind of blurry, but it runs well. And it has a lot of noises with the shadows and reflections are noisy. It has a lot of issues with the image clarity, but at least it doesn't stutter. So I guess with a higher refresh rate display, this is just gonna be insane good. Absolutely amazing. So yeah, we have officially upgraded our RTX 3080 with multiple frame generation, basically. So we don't need the 50 series, but I'm getting that 4090. Let me tell you that. I'm so excited about it. I'll do a separate video about it. I'm gonna tell you which one I'm gonna get. I'm very excited about that, but that'll be another video. So let me know your thoughts and opinions. If you already have the program, definitely give it a try again. If you didn't like lossless scaling, you have to try it again because the improvement is massive. It is just absolutely massive. Let me go out of the car and shoot. See if I can see any weirdness. So yeah, I see the occlusion artifacts, like right here where the scope is. I see how the scope is kind of disappearing a little bit depending on the background and what's going on with the background, but I don't see double, triple images when I move left to right, and the input lag is impressively good. This is good. The thing is that's so weird is that I cannot notice the resolution scaling. That should be a huge difference. I cannot see that difference. If I max out this again, it just doesn't make any sense. I see the difference on the performance. When I do that, I see the difference on the performance. Let me turn it off and on again, so just to make sure it is. So it is off. I turn it on again. Yeah, I see the difference in the performance. I'm getting less frames now. I was getting 72 solid in this part, and I'm getting 64, 63. It's, yeah, I got a judder there. I am getting some judder now. 64. But you see the jumpiness, the judder. It's not like this. It's not like, it is less noticeable. It is there, but it's less noticeable. See, I got a judder there. Instead of being, so the judder, instead of being like this, like, you know, you are smooth and then it does this, it's like, it's not as fast. It's like a slower judder. It's weird to explain. I don't know how that's coming across on camera. It's like a change on the speed. Like I have this, so I can smoothly pan the camera. And it is like a change on the speed of the panning, but not a judder, not like a stutter look, stuttery look. It's kind of weird. It's like a change on the speed is what's going on. Yeah, there it definitely judder. But yeah, the weirdest thing is I cannot see the resolution difference. So I'm looking at it. I'm looking at a pixel level. I'm gonna lower this to the minimum. Resolution scale to the minimum. You turn it off and on again. Turn it off. Looking at it. I'm gonna turn it on to see I'm working. Off. On. It's definitely on. I cannot see the difference. I don't see the resolution downgrade. In motion, maybe. Yeah, let's look at the motion. So it gets blurry when I move. It is blurry when I move. Now let me max out the resolution scale here. It's still working. Let me move now. Yeah, it looks better in motion now. So I think that resolution scale is for the generated frames. So when I'm still, I don't see any difference. That is actually good. So it is affecting the resolution more when you move. I think that's great. I much rather have that than have the entire thing looking bad all the time. But yeah, there's definitely a compromise. There has to be. There has to be a compromise. But this is great, man. This is mighty impressive. So let me know your thoughts and opinions. If you have any questions, we have the live stream this weekend with Gaming Tech. I'm gonna talk about the 5090 and all the CES news. I'll do a video about me buying the 5090 and which one I'm gonna get. I already have decided that. But you let me know.